So today's video is going to be talking about the importance of getting outside of your home country. Get your passport and travel. And we're going to talk about the importance of doing this. Now, I will preface this by saying I understand that traveling is a privilege. I understand that getting a passport is a privilege. I understand that being able to go outside of your home country is not something that everybody has the means to do. So I will acknowledge that, and I will say I'm very blessed and very fortunate and very grateful that I do have the opportunity to travel and that I do have the opportunity to experience different cultures. But the main reason why I say this, and the main reason why I stress that getting your passport and getting outside of wherever you are from is so important is you get to see a different way of life. I was born in America. So all of my upbringing, a lot of my mindset, a lot of the ways that I operate are centered around American values. And American values can change from region to region, but overall, we're a very hyper-capitalistic, very workaholic, productivity, get money type of culture. That is what we do. We're a hustle culture, and that is what Americans are often known for. We're known for a lot of popular culture, but then we're also known for being that nation that is very, very focused on getting things, acquiring things, making money, all that different type of stuff. So that is kind of the psyche that I've had. And I'm used to people always being in a rush. I'm used to people kind of always striving for something, whether it's materialistic or not materialistic, striving for something more, right? Being more productive, doing more, getting more, all that stuff. And when I went back to Europe recently, I went to Italy, I went to France, I went to Spain. I was kind of reintroduced to the slowness of life and the difference in value. When you go out there, I was I think it was an area called the Amalfi Coast in Italy, and I went to Barcelona, Spain. Barcelona was a little busy, but overall, the European culture felt much more slow. There were things that we value here, or there are things that we value here that they don't seem to value as much. When I went to Italy in particular, went to the countryside and just seeing how people live, right? Seeing where they lived, living in apartments, kind of taking things easy. It didn't seem like they were in a rush to get anywhere. It didn't seem like they were in a rush to be more productive. It didn't seem like they were living outside of the moment. They were very present. I remember vividly, I went to this market in France, Marseille, France, and everybody in the market, aside from some tourists, everybody was just enjoying themselves, walking around. You could tell the people who lived there, they were very, very content and very happy with just taking a walk. Nobody had their phones out. Nobody was snapping pictures for Instagram. Aside from the tourists, everybody was just there and just enjoying the moment. And it was so different because in the US, when you go somewhere, even if you go to a park, you go to a mall, you go to a club, you go anywhere, everybody's constantly on their phone all the time, checking email, checking Instagram, checking Twitter, checking all these different things, making trades, all this different type of stuff that we do to kind of stay busy. They weren't focused on that. I could tell the value really came from enjoying the moment, savoring the moment, free time, family, leisure time, all those different things. You could tell that that was the basis of the culture in the regions that I went to, right? And I understand that from place to place, it's going to vary. Just like culture varies slightly when you go to different places in the United States, culture is going to vary when you go to different places in Italy. Culture is going to vary when you go to different places in Spain. But as a whole, you can tell that the undertones of the culture are less focused on a lot of the things that we focus here in the US. And the reason why it's so important to expose yourself to this is because, one, it's very easy to start to think that everybody in the world thinks the way you do. When you never leave where you're from, you start to think that everyone around you is just like you. You get stuck in this bubble and you don't realize that the world operates differently when you go to different regions or different places. So when you go to a different location, whether it's within your country or outside of your country, you kind of unlock this whole new level of understanding. You experience a new culture, and it kind of unlocks a whole separate part of your brain where now you're like, wow, I was living this workaholic lifestyle, but there's an opportunity to live a different way, whether it is, living a different way within the US or maybe moving to a different country. There's a different way of living. There's a different way of experiencing life. And I think that is the most important part of travel. It's the learning aspect. It's meeting new people, having conversations with people, understanding what their upbringing was, understanding all of those different types of things, because you become such a more well-rounded individual, well-rounded person, just in terms of the way that you think about things, because now you have more data points and you now understand that the world isn't the same everywhere. Everybody doesn't think like you. And with that, you have the opportunity to create a life that you really enjoy. And you can kind of break out of those chains that you were given as a child or as a young adult, and you thought you had to live a certain way, but you don't. So I will end with saying this. If you do not have your passport, get your passport. And if you cannot travel outside of your home country, whether you're American or whether you live somewhere else, try to at least travel within your country. If you live in the US, let's say you grew up in Florida and you've been in Florida your whole life, you've never gone anywhere else, try to go to New York City. Try to go to California. Make these investments, because when you do it, it opens up your mind, and the things that you experience oftentimes will inspire you. I get so inspired when I go to a new place. Sometimes it just gives me this whole new energy about my own life, where I'm like, wow, I was living in this bubble for a little bit and I was getting kind of numb to just the life I live. But this excites me now. I now have some things I can take back into my life and incorporate that just makes me feel better. It makes me feel more excited about what's coming next. It makes me feel more excited about the next day. So all of those different things are super important. And I just wanted, I wanted to come on here and talk about that today, because when I was out there, that was one thing I was thinking about. I was like, I got to post to YouTube and share this, because I think it's so, so important to have that exposure into travel. So let me know down below what your experiences are traveling. If you've been able to travel outside of your home country, wherever you're from, leave where you're from down below, and leave a comment about what traveling has taught you. What's your favorite aspect of travel, and why do you travel, right? What was your first experience, traveling? What inspired you to, kind of pick up and go, or get your passport or go somewhere? Let me know what that is down below. I'm probably going to insert a little bit more of the vlog footage here. Everything that you guys have been watching right now is all clips from Italy, from Spain, and I was about to say Japan. I didn't go to Japan. Italy, Spain, and France. So let me know, like I said, down in the comments what you guys think. And yeah, that's it. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. I'll end. Get your passport, go travel, experience something new, and open up your mind. There's new horizons waiting to be discovered.